10 things you must know about dowry in Islam or Mahr. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. This is part 4. In part 1, I talked about why give the dowry. In part 2, I talked about what should the dowry be. In part 3, I looked at the minimum, the recommended, and the maximum. This is part 4, so please be sure to watch the first 3 parts before continuing on with this one. In this part 4, I will talk about Mahrul Mithil, or the average or typically received Mahr. Now, the average or typically received Mahr is not an exact science. It depends on different factors, such as you look at other women similar in terms of beauty, intelligence, age, wealth, lineage, education, virginity, domicile, and era. And that's how you can compare what other women of similar factors receive. So she deserves the same. So, for example, if her sisters who are similar to her received, let's say, 4,000 or 5,000, then she deserves the same. Now, what happens is that different places have different averages. I asked an imam in North Texas at a large masjid, and he told me that was in 2025. He told me that the average mahar he has seen after doing hundreds of nikahs is about 4,000 to 5,000. That's what he told me. And I assume this is true for a middle class man. For an extremely wealthy man, let's say he's a millionaire, then that would not be acceptable. That would be too low. It should be much higher. How much higher? Here are some suggestions that will help determine the mahar depending on the man's income or salary. These are my personal suggestions. This is not a matter of halal and haram. This is not a law. This is not from Sharia. My personal suggestions. Let it be 10% of his income or salary in a year. So, for example, if he's making $50,000 a year, that sounds like middle class, then the mahar will be $5,000. And again, this is relevant for North America, for England, United Kingdom, Australia, other parts of the English speaking or other parts of the Western world. It would be different. You have to look at other factors. I'm living in North America, so I'm familiar with the economic conditions here. If let's say he's a doctor, doctors can make a lot of money. Let's say a doctor is making $250,000 a year. Some doctors make 300, 400. Salaries range. The salary range of a doctor varies significantly depending on specialization and also depending on the location and experience. 10% of 250,000 would be 25,000. If he's a millionaire, right, then the mahr could be 50,000 or 100,000. So it's not acceptable for a rich man, a millionaire, to give 4,000 to 5,000. Now, another suggestion I make, and again, you don't have to do this. This is just a suggestion to protect the financial rights of the wife, is instead of giving her cash, why not give her pure gold coins that she can use and save? It will protect against inflation because cash is always losing its value. Inflation, official inflation rate, maybe 2 or 3%, but the reality on the ground, practically speaking, inflation rate here in the United States, in North Texas, in the past few years, has been much higher, maybe 10%, maybe 20% in some cases. So if she gets cash and she puts that cash away in a savings account and starts saving it, in a couple of years, the cash will lose 10 to 20% of its value. So the cash is becoming less and less in terms of buying power, which is bad for her. So what if you give her mahr in terms of pure gold? Roughly speaking, 1 ounce of pure gold is approximately, let me check the numbers for today, the market value of pure 1 ounce of pure gold is $4,500 approximately. I just Googled it. So That would be one pure gold, 1 ounce pure gold coin. If you give her one coin and she keeps it for 2 or 3 years, its value will increase most likely. As you've seen, you see in the price of gold over the past, you can see it in the past few years, go back past 10 years, the value of gold keeps increasing. That's because the cash is becoming devalued more and more. So the bottom line is if you give her pure gold coins and then she saves it, after 5, 10 years, it may increase in value. It becomes stronger and she has more buying power. It serves as a great investment, and safeguarding wife's financial rights is an objective, important objective of the Islamic law. What if she accepts lower than the average, lower than Mahrul Mithl? Can she do that? It's her money, it's her right. She can do whatever she wants to. She can accept a lower amount. I do not recommend it, and this is not expected, and no one should pressure her or force her or embarrass her into accepting a lower mahr. It belongs to her and only her. Her father can advise her, her wali can advise her, but it does not belong to her father or mother or anyone else, as I stated earlier. Out of her own goodwill, without any pressure or coercion, she has a right to forego. But what if she agrees to, let's say, $2,000 mahr, even though the mahr, recommended mahr, al-mahr al-mustahab, which we talked about previously, is 500 dirhams, which is roughly $3,750 if you assume that each gram of silver is 2.5 grams, $2.5 per gram. Let's say she accepts half of that amount, 1,500, 2,000, whatever. Can she do that? Sure, she can do that because that's her right. However, the father will say, hey, I don't think it's a good idea, and I have the right to object because my daughter deserves an appropriate meher, or at least a recommended meher. Right now, um, you feel that you want to make it easy for your future husband, but in the future, maybe you will regret it, right? So, as a father or wali, he can object to make sure that the daughter receives appropriate meher. And after the nikah is done, um, she can forego unpaid dower in part or in whole. Let's say he agreed to $5,000 and he paid $2,000 immediately, and he said after 1 year, I'll pay the rest. She can forgive the rest if she wants to. However, once again, this is neither expected nor required. There should be no pressure. No one should even ask her for this, and she can share part of the meher with her husband, give him back a small portion if she likes. Again, this is neither required nor expected. So that's it. Inshallah, next time we'll talk about something called the half dower. If he divorces her without touching her, without being alone with her, he still owes her half of the meher. And we've already talked about these wonderful topics. And this has been another lesson from my textbook, The Rules of Love, the ultimate guide to marital success, based on the Quran, Sunnah, fiqh, and psychology. Please like, subscribe, and share. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.